Okay, if you've been watching for a while, you know I have done a little bit of a video about Mukishoes before. That was one of my earlier ones, so I probably could have been more technical, though I still have a long way to go on that. But anyway, today I received my first new high top pair since I've learned more about my sizing. The first pair I tried of Mukishoes was a resale high top obsidian, but it was definitely too small. So I didn't really get a good assessment. And recently they offered because it's technically like a defect in the sense that it wasn't manufactured completely correctly. Like, it has the full quality, but it seems like what happened is this exterior fabric was just cut and put on backwards. So instead of having this type of feel with like a kind of a light denim, it has a very soft kind of wintry feel, which is actually pretty awesome. It's not what it's supposed to have, but it's definitely not bad. So it kind of gives it a wintry, cozy feel. So anyway, I decided to try it. It was discounted. The reason that I hadn't bought another high top before is this opening. I've already unlaced the top so you can't see too well, but basically it angles right back at the leg, which is fine if you have skinny legs. If you don't have skinny legs, then there's a little bit of a problem. So the first one I tried was a 42, and I've since figured out these are about to get relaced because they so kindly sent me a pair of light laces. That's a different story, but anyway, these are unlaced currently because I'm just showing the different models. This is the hemp. This is part of their reclaimed cotton line of like textiles that would have gone to waste. So they're trying to find sustainable material sources, which is awesome. And which is part of why too they sold this, even though it wasn't actually the design. Like, hey, these are already made, let's not let them go to waste. So, but what I was trying to say is they're different materials. This is a much thicker, very much jeans-like canvas. This is lighter, more just softer. This is harsher, not in a bad way, but simply I have less tolerance for bumping into this, which is why these are 44 and these are 43, because they're softer. And if I run into them with my toe, which my fourth toe is the one that does this, I'm not gonna mind, but I would have minded in these. So anyway, these are like this, but because of my previous issues with high tops, I decided to order this in a 44 as well. And knowing it was a high top, I'd be more likely to wear it with pants, probably thicker socks, etc. So this is a 44. These are 43s, 44. So you can see, I wanted to show kind of the difference in height between high top and low top. The high tops tend to have this, several of them have this type of cross material. I think moss does, obsidian does, which is the gray one. There's not, I don't think there's not a canvas high top of this, but there is leather high top of that. So these do come up kind of over your ankle bone. Guessing they look really good with higher socks. Fortunately, I do still have this opening problem, which is why this is unlaced. The shoes are very thin and light, so these are not lined like a winter model, but I run hot anyway, so I tend to get unlined models that I can wear any time of year, but just add socks in the winter. So not everybody makes sizing decisions the way I do, so I try to convey that so that you can be as accurate as possible with your own decisions. Mukishoes are not the widest, so I don't have a width problem in the 43s. I'm probably lengthwise, I'm still technically a 42, but I tend to get a 43 because usually right here. You really have to consider foot shape, not face shape, when you buy a shoe. And so mine tend to bump right here. So I size up. I'd rather have some extra room here than constantly feel like my fourth toe is just in a fight. So be aware of that when you're sizing shoes. You go by length and width first, but you've got to do research to find out about volume, high or low, because like these are better for high volume people, which makes me so happy because most shoes are not. I think most companies are low to medium volume. So the fact that Mukishoes is good for high volume feet. Plenty of low volume people make it work. You can add insoles to the bottom. This does not have a removable insole, but it's pretty flat and it's comfortable to wear. I wear, actually, because of me trying them on, I currently have these no-show, super low, like hidden in gingy socks on. Fluffy feet problems, leaves marks. Everything leaves marks when you got fluffy feet. So, but I left those on because I'll probably try it on again and try it on with some different socks, because I've got to decide, can I make it work, even though if I lace this up, this is just going to dig constantly in my foot. And the fact that it's too narrow also makes the back kind of collapse down. And anytime I talk about something like that and you're not sure if it applies to you, I'd be happy to discuss measurements and whatever to help you know. Just know that not every shoe is designed for every person. It's impossible for every shoe to be designed for every person. And I have to accept that for the most part, I'm meant to be a low top Mukishoes girl, though I'm still so tempted to try the leather to see if that has more give than this canvas that is really straight, just straight at the ankle. So, or straight at the bottom of my shin. So anyway, there's that. I tried it before on this, so this is harder, so that's not ever gonna work for me. I could be a 50 or something, and still that would be like, no, we're pushing into your leg. So this is super lightweight, like all the Mukishoes. You can just do whatever you want to it. You can fold it up, twist it up. There's nothing that you can't, your foot is not restricted in any way, is what I'm trying to say. Though, if you have a very wide foot, you might need to size up or understand that this is not the widest brand. For comparison, here is a Terra Vita in a smaller size, and they're about the same size width. Let's see if I can do it right. And actually I think the Terra Vita might be wider, even though of course it's not as long. So just know that, yeah, the Terra Vita is actually wider, even though it's a smaller size shoe. So just know they're not the widest. If you're super wide, you like, my husband can wear these, though I do okay since I size up one anyway. In my actual size, I might have width problems too if I was wearing 42s in these. I'm sorry for all the movement. This has probably been half out of focus the whole time. What I was going to say, and I may have said this in my previous Mookie video, that some people in particularly slippery conditions, this may not be sticky enough for you. These are pretty shallow and set close together, so it doesn't give your foot a lot of opportunity to grab onto things. But the moldability, like, I took my kids to a socially distance appropriate park with very few people since the actual playground's closed, but a lot of space to walk, and there's this big boulder next to a creek, and I was literally just going up and down it in this shoe, and my foot molded so well around the parts of the boulder. My friend was like, your barefoot life is pretty good for clambering up and down stuff, even though I'm not that, fit and super active person. So there's good moldability, but maybe not a lot of grip to the sole. So I don't know if any of these are still available. They were at a really nice discount, making them the same price as the low tops. they look great. It gives a totally different feel than the than the intended, but still a really lovely shoe. And these insides were actually drawn by one of the founders, so that's a mark of the new line, the sustainable, like, reclaimed textile line. These are the originals that just have the logo inside. Sorry, I was like, that looks like stitching, but there's no stitching there. That was just the lace tucked into it. So anyway, if you have any questions about Mukishoes, let me know. It's one of my favorite brands, and I'm always really happy to wear these shoes. I really wish that I could put this on and it'd be as perfect as the others. So we'll see. At the least, if I decide to pass it on, I'll definitely take some outfit pictures so you can see it with some clothes. Thank you.